So Carrie Huma wrote a novel called The Bone People. And in there, she has this wonderful quote. Another real thing. I am not dead yet. I can call forth a piece of soul and set it down in color. Fix it forever. And it's true. I'm not dead yet. And I'm here to tell you, you're not either. I can prove it to you right here, right now. Everybody taking a deep breath and let it out. By golly, you're still alive, just like me. So I want you to take a moment and pretend with me that you are Ebenezer Scrooge. Now some people, it might be easier to do that than others, but I want you to pretend that you are Ebenezer, not the Christmas Ebenezer Scrooge, but the Halloween Ebenezer Scrooge, since it's October. I want you to pretend like you went to bed last night and you were visited by 3 Halloween ghosts. The ghost of Halloween past, the ghost of Halloween present, and the ghost of Halloween future. And you, like Ebenezer, had an awakening, saying, you know what? I don't want that future. I don't want to be going in that direction. My life has somehow got to change. And then you woke up this morning in real life and thought, wow, I still have another chance. I don't have to end up where my path is taking me. I can make different choices. I have another hope, another change, another day has been handed to me. A brand new blank canvas, in fact. So what are you going to do with that? The sacred day, today, the day the Lord hath made, what are you going to do with your brand new blank canvas that you've been giving? Where will you begin? Well, most artists begin with preparation. They get their paints ready, they get their paintbrushes ready before they even touch their canvas. And I want to say we need to also approach our canvas in preparation. How best to approach it? I think we have to start with gratitude. We have to start with gratitude of life. Because reality is your day that you've been given today is a miracle. Because life is a miracle. And I'm telling you, it can be taken away like that. I had a client this week whose best friend died like that. She was 35 years old. She was in good health. She sat down in a chair and collapsed and died like that, leaving behind a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old. And after that session, I thought to myself, that could have been me. And I'm telling you, that could have been you. Totally unpredicted when our day comes. Now, I don't know if there's a who or a what that actually knows how many days we have on the planet. The Bible says that God knows the number of our days. I don't know if that's true or not. But what I do know is true is our days are limited. We only have so many of them here on the planet. Olga Pilecki, she was somebody I studied with at the University of Houston in graduate school about 100 years ago, a long time ago, said to one of the doctors that we were working with on a rotation, we are an internship at a psychiatric hospital, and Olga said to the doctor, have you thanked God for your mental faculties today? For your sanity? Have you said thank you? Because look around. We are so lucky. And I had to concur with her because in that same hospital, on that same rotation, I had a patient that came in, and in the middle of our session, I'm a newbie, you know, I don't know what I'm doing yet. In the middle of our session, she got up, she walked across the room, and she ate my plant. It was a big green ivy, and she thought it was an apple. My next session. Somebody came to the door, and I said, well, come on in and have a seat. And she came in and sat down. I said, no, on a chair. I mean, come all the way in and sit on a chair. So I am telling you, this was my first experience with psychosis. Not really in this world. So if you think that you are crazy, I'm here to tell you, you are not. Have you taken a moment to say thank you for my sanity? Have you taken a moment today to say thank you for my amazing brain that got me from home to here, no problem? How would your life be different if you took 2 minutes every morning to say thank you for my brain, thank you for my heart that's still beating, thank you for my breath, thank you for another day above ground. I'm a cancer survivor. Every day above ground is a good day. So taking 2 minutes in the morning, what do you think that will do to your life? I'm going to challenge you to do that. Take 2 minutes when you first wake up to say thank you. Here are some thoughts about life I want you to think about. The first is from Agatha Christie, the famous British mystery writer. She says, I like living. I have sometimes been wildly, despairingly, acutely miserable, racked with sorrow and confusion. But through it all, I still know quite certainly that just to be alive is a grand thing. It's a miracle. Another thought comes from Rachel Raymond from her book, Kitchen Table Wisdom, which is one of my favorite books, and also this is one of my favorite stories of hers. Rachel is a doctor. She's retired now outside of Sacramento, and she worked her whole career working with cancer patients. And she writes, one of my patients, a successful businessman, tells me that before cancer, he would become depressed unless things went a certain way. Happiness was having the cookie. If you had the cookie, things were good. If you didn't have the cookie, life was no good at all. Unfortunately, the cookie kept changing. Sometimes it was money I needed, sometimes it was power, sometimes sex. At other times it was a new car, the best job with the biggest income, the biggest house, a new contract. 2 years after his diagnosis, my patient says, cancer has changed him. For the first time in his life, he is happy. No matter if the business is doing well or if the business is not doing well. No matter if he wins at golf or he loses. He says, 2 years ago, cancer asked me, okay, buddy, what is important? What is really important? Well, life is important. Life any way you can have it is important. Life with the cookie, life without the cookie. Happiness doesn't have anything to do with the cookie. He said before, I wasn't really living. Now I know happiness is about really living. Who had time for that before? I say, let's take the time to really be living, to really take 2 minutes to connect with your experience of being alive and to say thank you. The second thing we need to do to prepare our canvas for the day, our blank canvas we've been handed, is to contemplate what we're going to draw, what we're going to do. What colors are you going to use today on your canvas? I have a client currently who is teaching in Rochester, New York. She's teaching for AmeriCorps for 1 year. She gets paid less than $1,000 a month. She has 20 12-year-old boys in her class. She is their 4th teacher in the last 3 weeks. The last one left after one of the students beat him up. She told me the kids have horrific histories, horrific stories, but there are 4 that stand out above all the rest. They are the worst of the worst. Her first day, they started with curse words, cursing her out, calling her names. Finally, she decided on day 8, that's it. We're going to have a little powwow. So she brought the 4 boys into her office to teach them how to treat a woman, how to speak to a woman, how to be respectful of a woman. The boys said, well, nobody ever taught us that. We had no idea that you're supposed to talk differently to a woman than a man or a friend on the basketball court. Well, she is young. She's 29 years old. And she is beautiful. And she is loving. And she is kind. And so the boys responded to that. They said, I wish I had a mama like you. And then they started to tell their stories. Every single one of those boys are beaten every single day. Every single one of those boys have watched their mother be beaten on multiple occasions. One of the boys lifted up his shirt and showed her the fresh welts on his back from his father, actually his stepfather's belt. And then they started to cry. And they cried, and then they started to sob. She tried to hold it together to support them, and when they walked out the door, she cried, and she sobbed as well. The boys came up to her a little bit later in the day and said, Miss, can we do that again? Can we meet with you again tomorrow? And she said to me, I couldn't do it. She said, I couldn't face that much trauma again tomorrow. So I said to them, not tomorrow, but next week. I talked to her the day after that day, and I said, so how did you take care of yourself? She's not used to having that kind of trauma put onto her at one time, as most of us are not as therapists more than others, but she had never been experiencing that with a real person that was experiencing abuse. So I said, so what did you do to take care of yourself? And how is today different than yesterday? She said to me, I painted today yellow. I said, well, what do you mean? And she said, when I got up this morning, I envisioned sunshine pouring on me, sunshine pouring on all those boys, and I wore yellow. She had a bright yellow dress on. She said, I am determined to bring sunshine to that school. No more black dresses for me. What color are you going to paint your day? What color are you going to paint your life? Think about it. I went to an interfaith ministry dialogue a while back about the topic was the Quran. And in the Quran, evidently one of the most frequently used words is contemplate. Contemplate this. Think about this. And I'm asking you, after you spend your 2 minutes in gratitude, to take 2 minutes in contemplation. So I'm up to 4 minutes a day with you. When you wake up, 2 minutes saying thank you that I got this day. 2 minutes saying, what am I going to do with it? What do I need to change in my life so I can get on a better track? How can I be a better you? How can I serve the world better? How can I be more loving? Contemplate this. I will tell you we have 1,440 minutes a day, and so far I'm only asking for 4. Carl Rogers, the brilliant psychotherapist who believed that unconditional positive regard for his clients would heal them, started each one of his days this way. Before every session, I take a moment to think and to remember my humanity. There is no experience this person has come to me that I cannot share with him. No fear that I cannot understand. No suffering that I cannot care about, because I, too, am just a human being. No matter how deep his wound, he does not have to be ashamed of it in front of me, because I, too, am vulnerable. And because I am vulnerable, and I am just a human being, I am enough. Whatever his story, he no longer needs to walk alone with it. You see, we are one in our humanity. We are the same, flawed human beings. Get it right most of the time, get it wrong some of the time. We are the same. We are one in our humanness. From Rachel Raymond, when I began to allow myself to not have all the answers, I gave myself a break. I began to be willing to listen to my patients more and draw them out and hear their important stories that I otherwise would have dismissed. What I found in the end was that life that I had always defended as precious turns out to be holy too. Your life is holy. The people around you's life is holy. Every person we meet is a holy person. This fellowship is holy. This faith is holy. This faith, I believe, is the only one that has the power to heal the entire world, because we believe in the inherent worth and dignity of every human being. Doesn't matter your color, doesn't matter if you're rich or poor, doesn't matter your gender, doesn't matter your sexual orientation. You are welcome here. And I believe that attitude is what we need to heal the world. It is holy. Contemplate that. Lastly, I encourage you to approach your canvas with freshness. And this will only take 1 minute a day. So you're up for 5, and that's it. 2 for gratitude, 2 for contemplation, and 1 for forgiveness. Let's talk about screwing up. Anybody ever done that before? Anybody ever not done that? If so, I want to touch your cloth and kiss your feet. I have had many clients, this is a true story, over my 30 years in private practice, come to me in a lot of anxiety about their parenting. And they say some form of this, some variation of this statement. They say, I don't want to screw up my kids. I want to get it right. I don't want to make any mistakes. And I feel compelled to tell them the truth. And I tell them as gently as possible, oh, actually, you're going to make mistakes. And not just one, but another, and another, and another, and another. In fact, you're going to make so many of them in your parenting that you may as well get used to it. At least that was my experience with parenting. How about you who are parents? I see a lot of heads shaking. Yes, my kids will tell you at our house that was a definite. Made lots of mistakes. Because the reality is there is no parenting without mistakes. There is no living without mistakes. We're doing the best we can. All we can do with mistakes is forgive ourselves, take that brand new canvas that's been given to us, and paint something different on it. Paint your ideas. Paint your changes. Paint the color you want to be, the improvements that you want. Because really, you have a new canvas right now. The actress Mary Pickford said, if you have made mistakes, there is always another chance for you. Always. You may have a fresh start any moment you choose. You may have a fresh start any moment you choose. For this thing we call failure is not falling down, but staying down. I had a client yesterday tell me, I have to tell you, I lost my sobriety. He's been sober for 8 months with a sexual addiction. He said, I lost my sobriety by looking at porn, and I had promised myself not to do that because it leads to further acting out behavior. And he said, he said, that was Thursday night. And I said, so your new sobriety date is yesterday, Friday? And he said, oh no, that didn't work out either. I acted out Friday too. I said, okay, so how are you doing today? And he said, today I'm sober. So he's starting over again. Brand new canvas to paint. We have to give ourselves 1 minute of forgiveness. Okay, yesterday didn't go so well, but today is a new day. I can do it differently. I can do it better. So forgive yourself your screw-ups. Paint a new picture. Hildebrand said in The Prophet, life goes not backwards, and it tarries not in yesterday. In other words, what he's saying is live forward. You have a purpose here on the planet. Live forward. Forgive yourself backward. Live forward, and you will bump into it. You may have that new start today. I want to end with a story of a fellow UU. He used to be a very quiet person. He was painfully shy. He felt very awkward if he had to chit-chat at any of the events he was required to attend at work. And so one day he decided, I want it to be different. I'm going to paint a different picture today on my canvas. So he went to an event and he took his sketch pad with him. He was a drawer. And he sat at a table and he started to draw and draw. And guess what happened? People came over to him. They said, hey, what are you doing? Hey, that's really nice. Wow, I really like that. And they started to talk to him. His fear of people went away. So I'm here to tell you, don't be afraid to paint your picture, whatever it is. It doesn't have to fit the norm of what's expected. Paint your picture so that your life goes in the direction that matches your soul, that feels just right. It may seem crazy and out of bounds, but if it's pushing at you, draw that picture. Take 5 minutes, 2 minutes to say thank you, 2 minutes to think, what do I need to paint today? How do I want it to be? 1 minute forgiveness. Okay, yesterday didn't work so well, but today is different. I can paint whatever I want. Move forward. For life goes not backward, and it tarries not in yesterday. Today is your day. Imagination is free. Use it and build the life you want to have. Blessed be, and amen.